Hey, everybody, welcome to another awesome episode of No Way Jose, starring the Boston Mass, Jose Raymond. And this week, we are talking all about the 212 Olympia. We're talking a little bit about the Classic Physique Olympia. But man, legend of the Olympia stage right here. Please welcome Jose Raymond. What's up, dude?
What's up, Ron?
Now, let's see if I can get the stats right on you, because I F up your stats every time.
Yeah.
So let's see. I'm going to run down the Olympia appearances, which we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Is that right?
10.
10. 2009, sixth place.
Yeah.
You had been lifetime natural up until like 5 months before that Olympia, correct?
Yeah, like 4 months. Yeah.
Okay. See, I feel the need to point that out because people are like, nah, he was born on gear. Okay. So 2010. Now, this is it. You never got out of the top 5 again. 2010, fourth place. 2011, third place. 2012, fourth. 2013, fourth. 2014, third. 2015, second to the great Flex Lewis. 2016, third. 2017, third. 2018, fifth. Wow. So that is 9 top 5 appearances in a row at the Olympia.
Yeah. But keep in mind, even that 6th place was first call out. They called out 6 of us.
Okay. Yeah. And it was called the 202 Showdown back then, correct?
Yeah, they're still calling it whatever. I don't know,
Yeah. I mean, it didn't get the Olympia name attached to it until the last couple of years you were part of it. I think the last like 4 years.
Yeah.
It was called a Showdown. So, you and the other OGs of the division were the ones that really fought to get that division recognition and respect and everything. So all you 212s out there and aspiring 212s, you owe a little debt of gratitude to this man right here for sure.
Yeah. And I'm wearing one of my 10 jackets.
Wow. Look at that. I mean,
this thing's beautiful. It's never been worn.
Really?
Yeah, not since I got it.
Oh, wow. What year was that one from? Do you know? Let's say. Because they change them every year. They're a little bit different, I think.
Yeah, they are different, but I have no idea.
Okay.
To be honest.
Yeah, dude. You could sell that on eBay one day or whatever the platform is for big bucks. Because, gee, who wouldn't want one of those?
It's funny. I actually did sell 2 of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Steve Cardillo had someone reach out to him from like Australia that wanted to, and I'm like, I got 10. I'll give you 2.
Yeah, I mean, geez, who needs 10 Olympia tracksuits? That is a lot. It's like, then again, how many Cardillo belts do you have?
Oh, 100.
CardilloWeightBelts.com, guys. Or on Instagram, check it out. So we're going to talk about the 212 Olympia. This was your wheelhouse. This is a stage you were instrumental in really building up over the years. You and the other guys like Flex Lewis, Kevin English, Dave Henry, Eduardo Correa, some names, and actually a couple of these names are in the show again this year, surprisingly enough. But let's start from the top because we have a vacant throne. Lunsford won last year. He's moved on. He's doing the Open. So it's wide open again. We're looking at, I think, and you tell me if you agree or disagree, I think it's going to come down to the guys who won it the 2 years before that, Shawn Clarida and Kamal El Gargni. Do you see that as your top 2 potentially?
Potentially, yes. Yes, I mean, they're the 2 most decorated in the lineup for sure. But I think it's so possible for something to happen, We'll get into the names, but I'm really impressed with a couple of these guys.
All right, well, let's talk about Shawn first, because a lot of people seem to be leaning toward him as the favorite in the same way that a lot of people are leaning toward Rami to win the Open. Clarida, he doesn't show much leading into shows. He's always covered up with the big hoodies and the baggy pants and everything. So it's not like we have update pictures to go by to say Shawn's looking fantastic with that. It's more like a mind frame. Like we know where this he's just such a hard worker. He's so dedicated. Yeah. And he looked so great when he won the show. It was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know if he needs to be any better. If he shows up looking the way he did in 2020, I mean, who's going to be able to handle him?
No one. So Shawn's strength is his proportions and his condition. That's it. You know, he's never going to be the biggest guy, but he's so put together perfectly. And he looks like a little cartoon, you know, action figure. He's perfect for his structure. So, you know, I've been saying it for a couple of years now. He doesn't have to try to put on any more muscle. He just has to refine everything even more than he already has, if that's possible, and avoid injury. He doesn't need to be squatting 700 pounds and doing all these crazy things. He's got a lot of mature muscle on him. Just keep training smart. Hopefully that's what he's done. And yeah, he's definitely on paper, the pick to win, as he should be. You know, the other guy, Kamal, is another year older. Where Shawn is not young, he's 40.
Yeah.
But in bodybuilding nowadays, 40 is a great age. Yeah. But 52 is not so great. But from what I've seen of Kamal, he is also improving. He's put on serious muscle in the last few years. And I mean, he competed at 219, shredded. And then 221 in Texas.
Wow. Yeah.
You know, that's impressive. And as we speak, I think he's still around 225. And he's weighing in a week from today.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's going to be a tough pull down to 212. Wow.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you know, 52, normally that would be a not a great age for a bodybuilder. But like I said, I saw him at both of those shows. Texas and Tampa, and he doesn't show any of the normal signs that you would expect to see on a guy, especially he's been competing a very long time. He's been training a very long time. He's not new to the game. Like some of these older guys, they didn't get into it until they were a little older. But Kamal, you don't see loose skin. You don't see any torn muscles. The skin still looks tight. I don't think the age holds him back. I just don't know if he can get past Clarida, because Clarida is so bubbly and round. It's just such a pretty physique. And, you know, you say he's not the biggest guy. He's not in terms of body weight, but good Lord. I mean, if you blew him up to 6 foot, I think he'd look every bit as big as Rami.
Or he'd be a Ronnie Coleman.
Oh, Ronnie Coleman, yeah.
That's what everyone calls him, the 212 Ronnie Coleman. He's so crazy.
Yeah.
But going back to Kamal, he took some years off back before he made this comeback. And I think he was down to 185 pounds. Where someone like me, when I stopped competing or was off season, taking time off, I would blow up. I would get heavy. He would do the opposite. So his skin never stretched out or anything like that. And he saved a lot of years on his joints by taking time off and focusing on business and family. And now he's able to train. He trains as hard as anyone. And he's a smart trainer. You don't see him doing crazy weights or anything. And as far as like typically at that age, the legs would start to shrink. But again, he doesn't do crazy things where he would have injuries. So his legs haven't shrunk, but they don't have the crazy sweep. Yeah. But a lot of people don't. That's just the shape of his legs. He never had that.
Right.
So I don't think he needs that. I think he's so polished. He's going to be very dangerous no matter what.
Yeah. So the next guy that I've been waiting for, this young guy to really pull it out and come in shredded for a few years now, Keon Pearson, who was 14th last year. Obviously a big letdown to him, to the fans, because he has probably some of the best genetics we've seen in many, many years. Tiny little waist, round, bubbly muscle bellies. It's just condition. And this happens every time I see him on Instagram, and I'm like, yes, finally he's shredded. But then we get to the show and I'm like, he looks so much better on Instagram, or so much better in the gym last week. I'm really hoping, I'm sure you've seen the pictures. He does look leaner now than I think I've ever seen him on stage. I'm hoping he can pull that look off and take it on stage. What do you think?
I think he's working with, is he working with Patrick Torrey now?
Yeah.
And I think Patrick is that guy that's like overly hands-on, overly involved with everything. And that might just be what Keon needs. He needs constant supervision and reassurance. And, hopefully he keeps his head together and and can bring that package that we've all been waiting for. Because, as you said, you'd see him on Instagram, he'd look crazy, and then he'd show up and it'd always be some sort of film or something. And I think that is more nerves, and I think he beats himself. Once he's focused and he can do it stress-free, just go out and have fun, then I think we're going to see a scary version of him. As you said, he has hands down the best structure on stage.
Yeah. Maybe
in any division, just the way he's, so wide with such small hips and round muscle. I'm really excited for him, and I want to see the best version of him. And every time I'm asked, I'm always like, no, until I see it, I don't think I'm gonna see it. But I'm pulling for him, I don't want anyone to think I don't like him. No, because I think he's awesome.
Yeah.
But I'm just one of those people, until I see it, I'm not gonna count on it. So as of right now, I still have Clarida beating him and probably a couple other guys. But if he's 100%, he will win. He will win. He can win. No question. If he's as lean as Clarida, he'll beat Clarida. He's a bigger, prettier version.
So the dark horse for this, you just had him on your podcast. So guys, on YouTube, there's a channel called The Boston Mass. Great interview last week. I think it was with Kareth Baggio in Connecticut. Yeah. Kareth, man, riddle me this, because did Kareth turn pro as a master?
I believe so, yes, at Universe.
Wow, then there's actually two guys, because Bo Lewis turned pro as a masters too. But man, Kareth has been looking crazy for weeks and weeks now. I mean, he looked stage ready to me a month ago, at like 6 weeks out. What does this guy need to do to win the Olympia? Because I mean, that's what these guys all want. They all want to win, and he's been close. I mean, he got beat by Keon very narrowly at a recent show. I can't remember which one, because they all blend together in my head. But it was basically just because Keon had a much prettier physique. Kareth's condition just was head and shoulders above him. But Kareth,
I don't know that he is he's a prettier physique, but he's just a little wider through the shoulders. Keon is. Otherwise, they're very comparable, and Kareth has changed his presentation significantly. Back then, when they competed against each other, Keon does that crazy vacuum and he's really wide, and Kareth was crunching on his abs, and that changes the look of everything. Now, Kareth has mastered the vacuum. He's going to look equally as big and tapered as Keon. But, condition-wise, I would put my money on Kareth. And he's gotten bigger. He's added tissue, He's got the work ethic. He's got the genetics. He just needed that little extra piece of the puzzle in Justin Miller to be that, constant guidance for him. And man, have they done some good work together. I have, if anyone I think could come out and win, I think it's him. Because he's like a bigger Clarida. Like 30 pounds bigger than Clarida.
Yeah, you're right. But what an upset would that be, to beat two 212 Olympia champs and take the title? That would be.
It wouldn't surprise me one bit. I'd be so happy for him. But as we said, he's got to get by someone like Keon, because Keon beat him the last time. So on paper, Keon's a higher ranked guy. But I think this is Kareth's time. I think he can do it.
Yeah. So next guy I want to talk about, from Spain, Angel Calderon Frias, who was also qualified for the Open, but decided, just like Clarida, to do the 212 again. He was 4th place here last year. So it tells you this guy he's pretty damn great. He doesn't get a lot of buzz because I don't think he speaks English, and he's much more popular in Europe than he is here. But this guy, he's no joke. Angel is I've been watching this guy for years. He's a very, very consistent top 5 guy at this show. Do you see him in the top 5 again?
Yeah, I could easily see him in the top 5, because he's one of those guys. He's going to bring perfect condition. I've never seen him remotely out of shape. every show, he's one of the freak factor, the front to back thickness, the pecs, the lat width, the taper, the shoulder width. The only thing he has that's slightly off is maybe because his shoulders are so wide, it makes his legs look a little smaller compared to that upper body, but I'm sure he's been working on it, and I think he's closed the gap between that symmetry deficit. And man, he beat a lot of good guys in a pro open show.
Yeah.
So that just shows you how dangerous this guy is. Structurally, overall, pleasing, physique wise. I don't think he's better than Kareth or Keon or Clarida.
Yeah.
But he's got that. He's got that freak factor that he's going to be in the running, no question. I don't see him outside of the top 5.
Right. So one of the best comebacks of this show would be Brazil's Eduardo Correa, because how long has he been away from the Olympia? It's been a while, hasn't it?
I think since 2019.
Okay, so not that long, but still, he's up there. Is he about your age, late 40s?
No, he's young. He's 41.
Oh, that's it. Oh,
yeah,
he's younger than I thought he was. But he had, I know he tore. I remember him tearing one tricep. Did he tear another one too over the years? He's
had so many surgeries in the last few years that it's just amazing that he is on stage. Amazing. Yeah. And, he did every Olympia I did, from 2009 up. And he might have missed one in there, but he did one with a torn tricep. And you could see the bruising under the tan. Wow. I mean, he had done it like 3 days before the show, and he still came and did the show.
Wow.
And he is a warrior, that guy. And no one will be harder. Nobody, no way, no how. He has certain shots that are almost untouchable. So even though, he's not the Eduardo of the glory days, just due to injury, not anything to do with effort or anything, his condition will put him in the running.
Yeah, because he just requalified with a win over the summer. I think it was like August, September. He won a show in Brazil. Maybe it was more recent than that, but he had to requalify.
Yeah, I think it was a little more recent. It was probably a month ago in Brazil.
Yeah,
and it was an emotional victory. The whole damn planet was behind him. That place was going nuts over him, and he went up against some pretty good guys that may have had better structure than him. But he is so impressive. You get mesmerized by him. And he has shots like the side tricep, side chest. His side shots are untouchable. He can stand with anyone in a side shot. It's when he turns to the front, some of the shoulder injuries have stopped him from being able to really open up in a lat spread. And, the legs are a little bit down just from leg injuries. And he's been through it all. But don't be surprised if he's in that first call out banging with the best in the world.
Yeah. And man, some of the greatest triceps we've ever seen in the world. I remember some of those shots where you could see like 1,000 cross striations. And nuts.
Dude, I want to say that out of everyone I competed against, I thought he was the craziest. Like, and all the way back to 2010 Europa Orlando. He won that show. It was 202 back then. And that was like the best physique I'd ever seen in my life up close in person. And I placed third. Rock Shabazz was second. And, that was one of those shows where Steve actually called me after the show and was like, he's like, don't ever do that again. He's like, show up in shape. He's like, you could have won that show. And that's when I started really believing. I'm like, if Steve's telling me I could beat Eduardo, that physique, then, I need to get on my horse. And sure enough, I end up beating Eduardo quite a few times after that.
Yeah, you guys went back and forth on the Olympia stage many times.
I love that guy. He's one of the guys, him and Flex Lewis and David, that truly made me be my best, because you have to stand next to that. You got to bring something special.
Seriously. So the next guy I want to talk about is from Kuwait, Ahmad Ashkenani. He's been runner-up at the Olympia before. He's an Arnold Classic champion. I've seen a couple of times where he made the mistake of trying to come in too big and full, not conditioned, and it hurt him. And I've been looking at his updates, and I'm a little concerned that he might be following that path again, where he looks really big and thick, but I don't see like the deep, clear separations that I remember from him as much. I don't know. So, we still have some time, obviously.
You know, when he first came out, he won the Tampa Pro. Remember that?
Yeah.
I think it was 2017, maybe.
16.
He was crazy, and he was probably only 195, 197 pounds or something. And he looked insane. And then he started just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I think that's a Camel Crew thing. They want their people big, full. Yeah. Got to be full. And that's not working for him. He's so short, like me, that the bigger you get, the less that physique really pops, you know, unless it's 100% peeled. And he looks great. He's crazy round. I think he's improved his legs from what I can see.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's a strategy that he's going to try to be so big that his legs don't look smaller, but if you're not detailed crazy, and I'm with you, the last few updates that I've seen of him, I'm not convinced that he's going to be top 5. You know, all these guys that we've named are coming with crazy condition.
Yeah.
And they're, you know, equally as big as he is. So we'll see. We'll see. I hope he does well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, the Olympia, I mean, in any division, this is a tough Olympia in all divisions. Anyone who thinks they can come in a little bit big and full and not as conditioned, good luck. Because there's going to be some divisions that'll come down to like 5th or 6th or 7th call out. There's going to be that many call outs.
Yeah. I've been saying that. I'm like, back in the day when I was competing, our top 5 was always crazy competitive, but it dropped off pretty significant after 6, 7, you know. Here you have 10 guys that look incredible. 10 guys, any one of 10 guys could legitimately be in the top 2 or 3 or even win. There's 10 great guys. And that's why I'm worried for Ashkenani, because there's 10 guys that can beat him. No question.
Yeah.
If he's not 100%.
Yeah. So let's talk about Bo Lewis, Bo Lewis from Tennessee. Another one did turn pro as a Masters. You wouldn't know it looking at him. Not one wrinkle, of course, anywhere on his face. Yeah. He's like 44 years old now. He's been working very, very hard all year. Really wants to move up. I think he was 8th. I think it was 8th or 9th last year. He really wants to win this, but I think top 5 or top 6 would be incredible progression for him. Do you see that possibly happening this year for him?
So he gets in really great condition. Sometimes he was off a few shows ago, because you always expect him to either win or be top 2, because he's that good. But he's tall. He's oddly tall for a 212 guy, like 5'7", maybe.
I didn't know that was tall, but I guess it is for 212.
Well, it is when you got Clarida at 5'1", and you know,
Kanani's 5'2".
Yeah, these guys are short. And dude, on stage in a 212 lineup, if you're 2 inches taller than someone, you look 7 inches tall. You know, and honestly, Flex is only 2 inches taller than me. On stage, he always looked a foot taller. It was crazy.
Yeah. You're right.
But yeah, I don't know. Unless he comes in crazy diced and a couple of people are off, I don't see him being in like the top 3. He could be, you know, somewhere in the 4 to 7 range.
Okay. I mean, that'd be top 5 would be amazing, I think, for him. I mean, that's much better than he's done so far. Let's go back to Brazil for a minute here with Lucas Coelho. So this guy's packed A lot of thick, dense muscle. I think he's been in Vegas already for a while, training with our boy Flex at the Dragon's Lair, and he looks damn good. It's just you don't hear a lot of buzz, on our end. I'm sure in Brazil they've been talking nonstop about him, but he's very, very good. I'm just wondering where he fits into this mix, because this is I hate the word, but it is a stacked lineup this year.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I'm really impressed with him. I've been following him for a few years now. He does that weird I forget what it's called, some sort of dancing on the beach where he's
capoeira,
something like that. Yeah. He's jumping around and flipping, and he's very athletic and he's passionate. You can tell he loves it. And I love some of his poses. His front double, he opens up the lats, and he's not really missing anything.
Yeah.
And he's really big, because I don't think he's that short, and he's really big. But that tells me, I don't know how much. When you said he's really dense, I don't see the density. I see the fullness and the roundness. I don't see grainy, hard, 20 years of training type of muscle. I see fairly new muscle that's pretty on stage and beats most people, but we're talking the Olympia.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say Lucas is somewhere in the 7, 8, 9 area.
Okay. Now, you alerted me to this guy just before we started recording, and I apologize to this gentleman and his fans for not knowing who he is. Yunlong Ping from China. So you said this guy's pretty damn good. I'm gonna have to check out some pictures after. Yeah. What does he look like? Size, shape. What are this guy's strong points?
Crazy legs. Legs. Here it is. Ping Yunlong IFBB.
Okay.
He's got tiny waist. He's got crazy muscle. I mean, that's a side chest.
Oh, there he goes. I got him now. Wow. Okay. Thick.
Yeah, and he gets in great condition. His legs are just stupid. Wow. Look at that.
Oh, so he won Thailand Pro. He won that KO Squad Egypt show. Wow. Look at the shape on him.
Yeah. No, he's very, very dangerous because of that shape and the legs. I had an argument with Dennis James or Milos about, I'm like, he's going to be dangerous from the front, from the side, and then it's going to be very tough for him from behind.
He's a little more back.
Yeah. As I say, like all Asian guys, for some reason, Asian bodybuilders have that issue with lat width and thickness. So yeah, this guy's very pretty physique because of the waist. But we can't forget about my friend here, the Mass, not the Boston Mass.
Who's the Mass? Who's that?
That's the kid from Korea. Did he win New York, or was he second in New York?
Oh, I don't remember. He looks.
I think he might have won New York.
I can't remember what his name is. It's not the Mass.
With the crazy legs.
Is he in the show?
Jang Sung Yup. Yeah, he's in the show.
Okay. Geez, I went right past him on the list. My apologies, Jang.
Yeah. He's another short guy that's just crazy. I met him a few times in Korea.
Okay.
He's pretty crazy.
All right. Next guy, I want to talk about Brian Balzano, because he qualified earlier in the season. And when that happens, people kind of don't remember you as well as someone who just qualified or who's a bigger name. But Brian's got a pretty complete physique. And condition-wise, I've only seen him a couple times. He's only done a couple pro shows. I think he's only done 3. But, man, the guy comes in peeled every time.
Yeah. No, he's one of my favorites. One of my absolute favorites, a dark horse to dude, if not placed very high, he could win. He's another one that could win. Very complete, very great structure. He reminds me, if you look with your eyes blurred, he looks like Flex Lewis. He's got everything, like the sweeping quads and the just the shape, the cap delts, and he's really, really good. And he's got the craziest glutes ever.
Yeah.
That's like Flex Lewis.
Was he in the show last year? I can't remember.
No,
No.
because he he came in second or third in Indy to Nathan Epler.
Right. That's right. It was a pro debut for both of them.
Yep. He had come back after a number of years and crazy surgeries and
oh, dude, what a story he had. Oof.
Oh, dude. And he is put together. Man, he's special. I think he's one of those guys. If he nails that condition and he gets the call outs and gets an opportunity, he's bigger, wider, and structurally put together incredible. He really isn't missing anything. So Brian. I can't wait to see that.
Brian with the Y, everybody. And now good luck, everybody, spelling this guy's name. It's Ole, Oleh, Kryvyi. I'm going to say Krivy. I don't know. He's from Ukraine. Ole Krivyi. This guy is stacked with muscle and condition. And just gnarly. Just that Eastern European, a lot of them are just very consistent with that seasoned muscle maturity look. And he brings that for sure. I haven't seen him in a long time. I can't even remember the last time I saw this guy compete.
Ole's awesome. He's in the Ukraine and he owns a gym and he has a mural on the wall of me and Branch Warren training legs.
Oh, wow.
It's a gigantic, the whole wall. And he sent it to me. It's so awesome. He's a great guy. He's as hard and grainy as anyone on stage. Like, he's crazy and he's got a shit ton of muscle. So we'll see. I don't know how he's, structurally compares to everyone else. I think he was really, really overlooked last year. I just think he's crazy impressive, that condition and hard muscle. It should be rewarded. So we'll see. There's just so many good guys, you don't know until they're standing next to each other.
So on the list, and we're not sure if he's competing or not, he is the OG. He was the first Olympia champion, David Henry, back when it was called Showdown. David's still at it. I think we were trying to figure out how old he is. I think he's about your age. So
he's 47. He'll be 48 in March, I think.
So physique seems to be holding together very well because he's still competing.
David's incredible.
He has not missed a season at all that I can think of. He keeps going and going.
The only year he missed was when he was overseas.
That's right. He was deployed. Yeah.
David is incredible. I still think he could do really well. I always say that I think he competes too heavy. He needs to really over diet. Come down to like 200 pounds or less. And just be so sucked out that it'd be hard to deny him, I think he's just been a little too heavy his last few shows, a little too big. And but even still, I still think he's been really punished for some reason.
Was it a couple of years ago? He took 10th at this show.
11th.
And we're all sitting there 11th place.
Yeah. I think that's probably why we won't see him. I don't think he retired from competing. I just think he gave up on throwing his hat in the Olympia because he doesn't think he's going to get a fair shake. But, love David. I hope he does do it. And I hope he brings his best.
Yeah. And he's now living in the fine state of Massachusetts. Even better.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's been here a while now.
Yeah, out in Springfield. So next guy from Mexico, Noel Adame, who I saw earlier this year at the Indy show. And I think he ended up 5th. But in the judging, I was rooting for him to win just because he was just a freak. He was so big, full. I thought his condition was pretty good. I'm not even sure why he got knocked down as low as he did, but I was super impressed with Noel. I think he's one of the freaks of the class.
And then he won New York.
That's right. Yeah, he won New York.
He won New York. And
we were there. We were there.
The
Yeah.
mass, he came in second.
Okay. Yeah, you got a great memory. That was only this wasn't that long ago. I should be able to remember these things.
Yeah, you were there. You get Noel, but Noel's as jam-packed with muscle as anyone. I mean, his pecs are crazy. His quads are crazy. The only knock was that he used to leave a little room for condition. But I know Chris Aceto has been helping him, and he brought him in incredibly at New York. And if he's like that, again, he could be a top 6 guy. He really could, because he's a lot bigger than everyone. You know, he looks 230 on stage. Yeah. You know, it's funny. You're looking through the lineup, and you're like, "What the hell is that? How is that guy 212?"
His legs, quads like this. Jeez.
Yeah. I mean, he's not structurally put together that great, but if you're conditioned and you pose properly, you can make up for your lack of structure. And, you know, his side chest is arguably the most impressive on stage, with that crazy hamstring and that side leg and crazy full pecs. He could be really, really, really dangerous. You know, this is why I've been saying this is so deep that we're going to have someone in 10th place that you're like, how the hell did that happen?
Yeah. Going to be a lot of butthurt people after this Olympia. Trust me, a lot of butthurt people.
Yeah.
Last guy, we're not sure. You say you think Peter Molnar from Hungary is going into 212. He is qualified for both 212 and Classic.
Well, I know for a fact he's doing 212.
You know, he's doing 212. So
I'm pretty close with his coach.
He's obviously, so if he can make Classic weight, he's not as massive as these guys, but makes up for it in a lot of other ways. The shape, the presentation on him is great, and the conditioning. This guy gets separated, dry, you know, everything.
He's beautiful, beautiful. No homo, but I mean, he's a good-looking guy. He's put together insanely. This is the part that makes me say, like, Classic Physique shouldn't have a weight class. It should just be a look, because he's not big enough to. Especially at under 212, because he's a little taller. He's probably 5'7".
Yeah.
And he's not going to be big enough to stand with the biggest guys, the thickest guys. It's bodybuilding. It's a freak show. But his presentation, you're right, his presentation is conditioned. Certain shots are mesmerizing. Yeah. He's just incredible. But he's not going to win. You know, something would have to be way off for him to crack the top 5. But he's definitely a top 10 guy. Now, you know, this is a guy that every one of us has seen the posters of him all over the world. Every time we travel or go to FIBO or Australia, anywhere you go, there's massive posters of him everywhere in the magazines, everything. He's been around a long time. That's how impressive his physique was. Long before anyone knew who he was. Yeah. You know, you're like, who is that guy? He competed in a few different other organizations, and you know, he's only been the IFBB for a year now.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. He turned pro in the same day, and then went into the pro division and won that and qualified for the Olympia.
Yeah.
He's crazy.
Right. Yeah. They've known about him in Europe. You're right. Because I remember Giles talking about him like 10 years ago.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, Peter Molnar, who the hell is that? So
always been a huge fan of his.
Before we transition, go ahead.
I'm saying if he were able to be his best weight, which is probably 215 to 217, and do Classic, then he would do nuts. He would be incredible. Yeah, because it changes the whole look of his physique. When he sucks under 212, those legs start to get thin. Yeah. And, you know, it doesn't help him going against freaks.
And Classic, I think you have to be like 192, I believe, the cutoff for that height. So, yeah, even worse.
Somewhere, yeah.
So, before we go into Classic, we're going to talk a little bit about Classic. Want to remind everyone to get the pay-per-view, Mr. Olympia. It's either MrOlympia.com, you can go to that website, or we can go to OlympiaProductions.com, either one. And if you buy it soon, I don't know, hopefully by the time this comes out, the price won't go up. But they are having pre-sales. It is cheaper. I want to encourage everyone to get the pay-per-view if you can't make it to Vegas. Also, Jose, I like the hair. I think you should keep the hair like that. Don't shave your head anymore. That looks way better. Yes, 100%.
I need to get a hair transplant or something though.
No. You actually have more hair here than I do.
Yeah, it's a filter I put on there. Fake.
We're both screwed back here, but man, yeah, you're doing great up here. All right, let's go.
There's one more name I want to mention. There's this freak from Iran, Ghaffar Nazada Hazizi. He's so crazy, crazy, big, shredded, crazy. He's a little thick in the waist, but crazy legs, crazy from behind. Back is nuts. He's another Persian guy he's been competing the last few years. He won in maybe New Zealand a couple of years ago.
Yep.
And then last year, he should have beat Hide in the Korea, that Monster Design show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a big, there was a lot of controversy behind that one. He's crazy impressive.
I didn't know he competed that recently. I thought he's been gone for a few years now.
2 years?
Yeah, wow.
2 years ago? Yeah.
Okay. All right, Classic Physique Olympia. We got 3-time champion Chris Bumstead. He's 12 years old. No, I'm sorry. He's 27 years old. He's looking fantastic. They keep trying to do these clickbait videos. Oh, he's injured. He's lost his motivation, but it's all just trying to get clicks and views. I think he looks phenomenal. He's got a new coach. He's not working with his brother-in-law, Ian, anymore. Ian can focus on the Olympia. And now he's got Hani Rambod, who was Phil Heath's coach, Jay Cutler's coach, on and on and on.
Derek Lunsford's coach.
I mean,
Body's coach.
So come on now. I think Bumstead's in very good hands. And
Absolutely.
The kid's got crazy genetics. If I could look like any human being in the world, face, body, I'd probably pick Chris Bumstead.
Yeah, so would 11.5 million other followers.
Exactly. But how safe is his title, do you think? Or is it?
Well, if he's not injured, he's going to be the champ as long as he wants to. Literally, as long as he wants to. He could do it another 10 years.
Wow.
The combination of his structure, his look, his work ethic, all those things combined, that's a once in a lifetime thing. We're not going to see anyone in the next coming years. I mean, when you look at Ramon, Terrence, Brian, those are 1 in a million type of physiques. But when you're talking special like Chris, that's a once in a lifetime. Yeah. There's no one going to come up and blow by him. There's just not. Yeah. And I'm assuming he's getting better. He's only 27. He wasn't at the weight cutoff, so it's not like he has to limit himself.
Yeah.
I think Hani, and Hani has a way of doing this. Chris is going to win as long as he wants to. As good as Ramon is, Ramon's gotten a lot better. Yeah. Has gotten a lot better. I'm sure Ruffin has. It's just when you stand on stage with him, he's taller, wider, everything. He's got legs. He can pose. He's got charisma. He's going to have 90% of the entire crowd screaming his name. Women are throwing panties on the stage. It's crazy.
Yeah.
He can't lose. Even if he loses, he doesn't lose. He's not going to lose.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. Talk to kids at the gym. You're at Gym Hub. You're right in the middle of that age group. I'm sure every one of those kids that you see at Gym Hub, the college age kids, they must all be Bumstead fans.
Oh, dude, I'm of the age that I'm so fucking old in this industry. If your name is gone within minutes, and I have nephews, family members that don't know who I am, but they're like, "But I know Cbum."
Wow.
My brother's Tito's son, Cruzy, is obsessed with Cbum.
Wow.
Everything's Cbum. I don't even know if they know his name. It's Cbum.
Yeah,
it's crazy. He's a movement. He's more than a bodybuilding, more than anyone. Jay Cutler, Ronnie Coleman, he has triple their following.
Yeah, he does. And you know what? I mean, it's physique wise, he's earned the titles too. But it's so cool to see someone who is, and he's representing the sport so well because he's bringing in a huge amount of fans. These kids would never give a shit about Rami or Curry or Hadi or anything. They could care less about the big, giant, freaky guys, but they all love Chris. They want to be Chris. So good job.
Yeah, there's certain things, he has certain shots that are absolutely untouchable. It's just his front stance. That lats spread he does, even though that's not a pose but when he hits it, it's incredible. His side chest, his side shots, his twisting shots, I'm not a huge fan of his rear double, which is a big pose, but he's still structurally bigger and better than everyone. And he comes in peeled. Yeah. So he'll have hamstrings and glutes and width. That's the only pose I can think of that he might not win.
Yeah, but he wins every other pose. So
yeah,
it's funny you say that because we've had him on the cover of MD twice, and once was the front lat spread, and the more recent one was the side chest. So yeah, you nailed
those are
it.
his two best shots.
Yeah.
And his vacuum is pretty crazy too.
Yeah, when he does his hands overhead.
Yeah.
Crazy. So Terrence Ruffin, though, Rough Diesel, he's been knocking on the door. Two years in a row, he's been runner-up. He's been Arnold Classic champion twice now. You know, I interviewed him, and I'm thinking, what does this guy need to do to beat a Bumstead? I don't know if he
needs
can.
to grow a foot.
I mean, is it really? Do you think it really does come down to a height thing with Classic?
Yeah, for sure. Because he just gets overwhelmed with Bumstead, and Chris is so wide. Just structurally, it's you have two awesome physiques, and one of them's 6'2" and one of them's 5'4". It's and one is this wide and one's this wide. It's just it is what it is.
Gotcha.
He just overwhelms them. I mean, I think alone on stage by himself, Terrence has the best physique in the lineup. He has the best presentation by far. He has the best swag, the best, everything about him. You can't take your eyes off him until he's standing next to Chris.
Yeah.
And that just says everything you need to know. I mean, if your eyes are drawn to Chris, that's what happens.
So the young German kid who you got to spend more time with than I did because he was at Gym Hub when he came here to win the Boston Pro. We're talking about the Miracle Bear, Urs Kaliczynski.
Yeah.
He was only 23 back then. He turned 24 late spring, I think it was late spring. But man, this kid has been making crazy improvements this year since Boston Pro. His legs were already great, but I was looking at that upper body, especially areas like the back and the arms, like, man, this kid's got a way to go to fill out if he's ever going to push Bumstead. And people are talking about him as the one to push Bumstead because he is taller. I think he's right around, I think Urs is about 6 foot.
No.
You don't think he's that
Not
tall?
even close. No.
It's hard for us to know because we're so short.
I know, and I always thought he was too. I thought he was over 6 foot, but I was
5'10".
standing next to him, and I asked him. He's like, "No, I'm only just barely 5'10".
Okay, I mean, it's
So
still
he's 4 inches shorter than Bumstead.
okay. But people still say if you're going to beat Bumstead, you have to have like a Bumstead type of physique. You have to have something along those parameters, the height, the width,
Which he does compared to everyone but Bumstead.
Yeah.
He has that height, width, really beautifully put together. Very similar physique in the fact that neither one of them have crazy arms but they both come in crazy condition. He does, as you said, have a ways to go to beat Chris, but I think it's going to be a good battle between Urs and Rough Diesel and Ramon.
Yeah.
That's the more intriguing aspect of this show. It's who's going to be the second place guy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Ramon was second place to Terrence, and Ramon seems to me like he's been getting better and better. He's 28? He's still a young guy too. And as you pointed out, he's got some things that no one else has. The cellophane skin. It's like he's skinless.
Well, he's the most muscular one of those guys.
Yeah.
He has the most muscle, dense, round, hard muscle, which to me, it kind of scares me for him because he's got to make the weight. He is, unlike those other guys, he is struggling with the weight. And I shouldn't say struggling, but he's peeled out of his mind right now and still significantly over the weight cap. So that, that kind of worries me, because if he were able to come in what I know he looks like today, he could probably win.
Wow.
Because he's so muscular.
And the back, his back is really thickened up.
Yeah, everything. So he's still, he's got to make weight, and then we see what it looks like. The good thing is he placed as well as he did last year, and he got there less than 24 hours before prejudging. His flight got delayed. He lost all of his food. So he went like 13 hours with no food. He was eating airport food and cookies, and he came in and placed what, third?
Yeah. At the Olympia last year, or the Olympia, he was fifth last year. He was second at the Arnold this year.
Okay.
to Terrence. So yeah, he's how heavy is he? How much over the weight cap is he right now? Do you have any idea?
I think he has to be 222 and he's like 235.
Ooh, wow. Because we're doing this on a Thursday and they're going to weigh in. I think they weigh in next Wednesday.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much par for the course. Like when I used to compete, I would be Monday, I'd be 220 and have to weigh in Wednesday or Thursday at 212. So, he's more like 13 pounds over though. I think he's going to be fine. He'll certainly make it. I just, I don't know what peeling that weight off looks like. Well, could be hugely beneficial. Could be inside out peeled.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, if they took the weight caps off Classic, we could see this version of Ramon, and I'd like to see this version of Ramon on stage because
I would too.
All the updates, he looks like he's ready to go condition wise. He's just
up the cap another 10 pounds.
Yeah, because that would allow him. Then Bumstead could be 250. My goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't mind seeing that. Why not?
Yeah, and the New York Post wouldn't like that. They'd be writing up a storm.
It's the Washington Post. Yeah, they've been.
I'm sorry.
They've been on a rampage. A couple more guys, and then we'll go. Let's talk about Breon because Breon is the two-time champ of the division. I actually interviewed him the other day. He hasn't slipped any further down than third at the Olympia. He slipped to fourth at the Arnold because he tried something different. It didn't pan out peak week, but he's been very consistent. I don't know if he can get his title back. These young guys are just they're coming up so fast and they're improving all the time. But this is his last time on stage in Classic. He is going to move on to 212 after this. What do you think about Breon Ansley, our two-time Classic Physique Olympia champion?
I love him. I think he's incredible. His condition, I just seen a few pictures of him. His condition is nuts. He's got probably the best arms in Classic Physique. Definitely the best arms. He's very well put together. He's great presentation. He's a warrior, complete competitor, and he's not a young buck. I think he's got to be 42.
Yep.
And God bless him. I don't see him winning, but as you said, it would not surprise me if he stays in that top three somehow.
Yeah.
That's it. He's that good.
So last guy I want to mention, originally from Costa Rica, been in Miami for a long time, Alex Cambronero. We haven't heard much about him, but Alex, I mean, he's won a lot of shows. He's been very high up in top 5 in the Olympia several times. He won shows both as a 212 and in Classic Physique. Doesn't get a lot of hype going into these things, but he's very, very consistent, Alex.
Yeah. I remember we got a whipping from him and Neil for not picking him. But this is precisely why that happens. You don't hear a lot of him. He's not on social media very much. The last thing I saw of him, he bought a new pair of sneakers or something. No physique update or. Listen, Alex is awesome. He is very capable of being in that first call out again, which he has been. Was he last year?
Yeah, I think he was 6th place last year. So yeah, he's right there. He's right. He's never far off the top. If he's out of the top 5, it's like 6th. He's never been way down the line ever.
Right. No, because he's great. He was a great 212 guy. He's a great Classic guy. Obviously works hard. I don't know how old he is now. I don't know if he's got any injuries or anything like that, but he's very dangerous. Yeah. He's one of those guys, he's very consistent. I've never seen him not in shape. I've never seen him not look great. So he could very easily slip up. If someone else slips up, he could slip into that top 3 or 4 spot. Yeah. But I haven't seen much of him.
Yeah, he posts most of the stuff when I do see him, it's the stories or the reels and it's training stuff, some posing stuff. He looks great. He's, like I said, he's got one of the greatest physiques in the industry. So God bless him. And I wish him the best. Him and his wife, Maggie, great people, love them both. So wishing him very, very well at this Olympia.
What about that guy, Mr. Classic Physique?
Wesley?
No. Black guy. He took a little time off last year.
Robert Timms.
Robert Timms, is he in there?
No.
He's not?
Actually, you know what? I'll check. I didn't see him on the list.
Dude, that guy's crazy.
Is he qualified? I'm gonna check real quick because now you got me wondering. But I don't think he qualified this year. I
thought he did at the end of last year or something.
You might be right. You know, I've been wrong about, a billion times. So
didn't he win the Legion or something? The same Shawn Clarida one?
Let's take a look, because you're right. If he's qualified and we're not talking about him, I'm gonna feel like a moron. Men's Physique Olympia, Classic Physique Olympia. Okay, so
what about Brian Jones?
I don't see him on here. There's 65 guys qualified.
Jesus Christ. They got to do something about that.
Well,
let me ask you this. Are they paying for everyone's flight and hotel and stipend?
They have to. That's the Olympia. That's the policy. So I think
they need to change that.
They're going to end up with
money could go to the top 15. The top 15 in every division could get paid if they took less people.
Yeah, I don't see him on the list. I don't see Brian Jones on the list. Brian, I was really wondering because he's good. He's very good.
Oh, he's nuts.
Crazy potential, but like, where's he been? I haven't heard a thing about him in a while. Yeah, not on the list. But I agree. They have to figure out something, because that's 65 guys in one division on stage. You can't even, if they put them on both sides of the stage, it's still going to take up the whole. I know it's a big stage, but man, that's a lot of guys to go through. I mean, I feel for Steve and his crew of judges, they have got to.
Yeah, and then there's going to be 70 men's physique, and then 800 bikini girls.
Wellness, bikini, figure, women's physique.
Woo! It's crazy. I mean, they're all good and deserve to be there, but they need to cut it down. And I'd say only invite 20 in each division. 20 in each division. That way, possibly every competitor could get paid. Every single one.
Yeah.
Could leave with at least $2,000 in their pocket.
Yeah. But see, the thing is, I was talking to Logan Franklin about this because Classic has the most. So that's the one we were really harping on. You're going to tell a guy he just won a show and you can't go to the Olympia, but maybe another suggestion, another solution.
No. They got to change the sanctioning fees. That's why there's so many bikini, men's physique, and classic, because it's a cheaper sanction to put that show on. Nobody wants to pay a giant sanction fee for open and the prize money. So there's very few open shows,
right.
But there's a million and a zillion bikini and physique contests.
Yeah. Yeah, you see
so
a lot.
They make it straight across the board. Every division costs the same. You don't sanction more money for this one or more money for that. Do it across the board. Then there'll be an even amount of shows, and there'll be way less competitors. And each show will have more competition because less people will be putting on shows.
Yeah.
And there'll be less to choose from. So all these bikini girls that did 800 shows, they're going to have to choose and only do a certain amount of shows.
800. Ashley Kaltwasser has now won 800 pro shows. It's true.
I thought it was 8,000.
I think it's like 30. Incredible. I think it's like 35 or 36. It might be 40 by now. I don't know. Yeah.
Where's she going to place at the Olympia?
Oh, we're not doing bikini. Come on now. No, don't
Come on.
I don't know, dude. I don't know.
Just name your top 5.
Bikini?
Yeah.
Dude, no.
Come on.
No. I don't even know all of my, which Jennifer Dory's the champ, right?
Yeah, Jennifer Dory.
So Jennifer Dory. Laura Lee Chapados.
There you go.
They like her a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Give me another. You got to throw some big names at me. I don't know. Ashley will be up there in the top 5.
Isa
Pacini.
Ashley.
Yeah.
Who's the real pretty one?
They're all pretty.
No.
It's the real pretty one.
No, the one she won it a couple of years ago. She's a little older, has like a 15-year-old daughter.
Oh, is she coming back? No, she won a few. You're talking about Angelica Teixeira?
No.
Someone else has a
Angelica
kid?
just had a baby.
Yeah, I mean, they're all popping out babies. Who else had a baby? Huh?
Janet?
Oleg?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, she won. You're right.
Yeah.
It's funny. I always thought because she's been around so long, I thought she was older, and I looked at her age and she was like 32 or something.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh, she must be like in her 40s, but no, she's not.
The girl Jordan
Lee with the big hair. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I can't judge bikini. I can't do predictions on it. Don't even.
That's not fair. You're not being really good to the bikini crowd.
No, I mean, because that's why we have like, Giles is coming.
What's that? Maureen Blanquisco.
She
won the Boston Pro.
Yeah. No, so I was trying to say is we have, Giles is coming over to cover with me, and we're getting you in on this too. We'll talk about that off the air. But Giles is bringing Lauren Lauder, his significant other, and she is bikini specialist. She's going to cover all the women's divisions for us, do the interviews, the play-by-play, all that stuff, because she knows what she's looking at. I don't know. You have a better idea because you've judged a bunch of shows. I go and look at these bikini, and I'm like, I don't know. They all look freaking great to me.
Well, here's the thing. I know exactly what I'm looking at, but it rarely goes the way that I would choose.
That you would call it?
Because there's something that I have a set of standards. Like, I think even though it's bikini, it should look like you worked out to get there.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
there were a lot of years that the winner was like scrawny, like skinny, tiny, tiny.
The early years, like, was it Nicole Wilkins? I'm not just speaking poorly about it.
No, Nicole Wilkins was figure.
She was figure. Okay, so who was like one of the early bikini ones that?
What's Bumstead's wife's name? Courtney King.
Yeah.
I mean, she was like 100 pounds. It was, that wasn't. I like the more muscular. I like Laura Lee. I like more shape and show like that you've worked out. Right. I like Maureen Blanquisco.
Yeah.
I like muscle.
A little bit of muscle.
Yeah,
a little bit. You don't want the bikini girls starting to look like figure, but you want
no.
You don't want them to look like they just walked off a beach and they've never touched a weight. No, obviously.
Exactly. So I do know what I'm looking at, but it does. I'm rarely right in who I think should win.
No, so I'd be the worst. I guarantee you, I would have. If I was a test judge, they would say, "Sorry, dude, no, you suck. You can't be a judge." Looking at these scores.
That's because you can't see anyway.
Can't hear, can't see. That's why I got you. All right, cool. All right,
well
guys,
done. That
is going to wrap it up, man. We have had a great 212 preview and classic preview from one of the true legends of it started out as a 202, grew into 212 class, and now it's an excellent division. Thank you, Jose, because nobody really could have called the 212s in a prediction show like this, like you did. So appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Much. And we'll be seeing you in shortly. Less than a week. Today's Thursday.
Yeah.
What day do you get in?
Saturday.
This Saturday?
Yeah.
Oh, you're going early.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, you'll be all settled in long before I get there.
I want to be ready. I want to be there. I want to be on time. You know That's me. Right. I'm late for everything.
No. Wow. Okay. So I'll be seeing you there. And guys, keep it here on this channel all Olympia weekend. We're going to be having all kinds of coverage, all kinds of interviews, as well as on musculardevelopment.com. We're going to be doing play-by-play in the forums with Chris Griffin and Big Mike Cox, Lauren Lauder, myself, Giles, Jose. We're going to be in Vegas bringing the show to you. And if you can't make it, get the pay-per-view. Get the pay-per-view so you can watch on your monstrous TV you guys all have at home now. You can have your snacks. You can have your drinks. Just have a good old time, guys. It's our Super Bowl, so enjoy it. That's it, man. So follow Jose on the Boston Mass with 2 E's on Instagram, and on this YouTube platform, go to the Boston Mass. He's got an awesome podcast show with his buddy Nate Tello, who runs the Gym Hub Boston. That's his baby downtown Boston. Best gym in town. And that's it, man. Thank you so much,
and
Jose.
Senapani Circles. You got to get on there.
That is on Telegraph.
On Telegram. Run, you're an old man. You download Telegram and go to Senapani Circles. You got the craziest cast of characters on there.
Run that down, because that is ridiculous. The group that you guys have assembled, it's you, it's Evan, you, Hollingshead, Lee Priest. Is Jay Cutler on your group?
Jay Cutler.
Flex Lewis. God, Flex Lewis.
Frank McGrath.
Guy Sister Nino.
Guy Sistanino, myself, Juji Mufu, Chris Tuttle.
The Liver King on your group? No, he's not.
Who?
Liver King. Just kidding, man.
Yeah, he's on there. He's been getting bashed a bit.
Yeah, poor guy. But that is an awesome group you guys have. Telegram. Telegraph is what they had when I was a kid because they didn't have telephones yet. So we had to send telegraph. But that's it, man. I look forward to seeing you in person. And I like the new hair. Don't shave it. Leave it just like that. Trust me. That's a win. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Yeah. You got great hair. Look at that. You must have gone to Turkey and got a hair transplant.
I'm thinking about it.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to go to Turkey or Colombia or one of those places, but yeah. Maybe stay here in the US and do it with Bosley. I don't know. I'm thinking about it.
All right.
All right, guys. Again, thanks for watching another episode of No Way Jose, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
See you, buddy.
Hey, did you like that video? Smash that like button, subscribe to MD, and please comment down below. Thanks for watching.